Hey guys, it's Delora Dabbles here, and user Prachi Kapoor, thank you for asking me what my magical tools are. I told you I could do that after Mardi Gras. Definitely having a Kickstarter deck come through. My next two videos were about that, but here we are today. I'm going to show you some of my magical tools. Some of them are very, you know, normal and common, and some of them are a little bit more uncommon. So I kind of want to show you guys some of the more uncommon things first and kind of how to work them in like I do, right? So first and foremost, did I put them over here? Yes, they're here. They're hiding from me. I think they might be shy. These are gargoyles, little tiny gargoyles, right? And we know what gargoyles do. They're watchers, protectors, right? And so I used to keep them on both ends of my apartment to tell me if anything was going on. And most of the time, it would just be like a feeling of dread, like, oh shit, I need to go home. And it was never not anything too crazy serious, but it was like, Fred likes to close doors, and Fred, for a minute there, was really enjoying locking Brad in the bathroom. And Brad would be in the bathroom doing his thing, and Fred would just come up and shut the door all the way. Now, neither of them can get in or out of the bathroom. So I'd get a sinking feeling, and I'd be like, I need to go home. And I'd find that. Okay. I also have this really cool lighter cover that my friend gave me. And it's also a bottle opener. They have these. I was like, where do you get these? She leaned in real close to me and she said, Dollar General. I was like, what? No way. No way. Dollar General. And so no matter what lighter I'm using, I will put it in this lighter holder, and it's my magical lighter. I know a lot of people don't think that lighters can be magical, that you need to use matches and things like that, but there are chemicals on the tip of a match, just like there are chemicals inside of the lighter fluid. And you'll see this theme throughout. Like, I have a wand that I made myself. It is a rose with all the petals taken off and a quartz super glued, right? Our ancestors were extremely resourceful people, but they were not a rigid people, okay? If they had super glue back then, they would have used super glue back then. If they had lighters with lighter fluid, they would have used lighters with lighter fluid. Just because something is more technologically advanced does not mean it is any less magical. Okay, that said, I also have this really cool pyramid thing with a door. And for my smaller stones, I like to put them in the pyramid to charge. So like, this is kind of like a charging station. It has a cute owl on it. A good friend of mine gave this to me. Yes. Getting into some other stuff, I also have some whiskey, because you never know when you might need whiskey as an offering for whatever reason. Whiskey is an extremely popular offering. Cat hair. Okay. I have a magical sword. It's not an athame because I'm not Wiccan, but this is a letter opener. And it is a little saber. I like it. It's super cool. As someone who travels a lot and moves around a lot, I don't want a big ol' honkin' sword, right? So I just want a symbolic sword, and that's what that does for me. I also have dowsing rods, copper dowsing rods, yes. I am quite fond of these, actually. I haven't gotten a chance to use them too much, but you really want to hold them super, super stable. They're kind of like pendulums. See, if you move your hand even just a little bit, they're going to go wonky. So, but yeah, these, they're just copper rods that fit into these wooden handles. That's it. And you have 2 of them. I got my dowsing rods. There's this couple in Houston, and they're the ones who make those really cool brooms that you see around Houston. Their brooms are sold at the Witchery in Galveston. They're sold at almost all of the witchy shops in Houston. So very well known. I hate that I can't think of their names. Someone will tell me, I'm sure. This is still wrapped up from packing because I haven't ground any resin since I moved back home. But we have a mortar and pestle. Every witch has a mortar and pestle. As you can see, this is specifically the one used for resin. I have another one that I use for herbs, but I figured it would be redundant to dig both of them out and show both of them to y'all. I also have this cauldron tea kettle. I haven't used it to make my magical teas yet, but I'm excited to do that eventually. So some of these tools I'm actively using. Some of these tools I have waiting in the wings to be used later. I also have a little tobacco box, right, with my pipe in it. And I really like this pipe because it breaks down to where it can fit anywhere. This is my ceremonial pipe. Only use it during ceremonial purposes. You screw the pipe on and boom. And it even has a little hole back here, a little bumper. Nice, right? And I have a screen down in the bottom of this. This is soapstone and wood, and it is one of my favorite pipes I think I've ever had. Yes. All right. You guys may have seen my obsidian mirror, right? I love a good obsidian mirror. I'm just kind of rotating it around the house so that you can kind of see how well this thing really reflects and polishes. Obsidian mirrors were specifically used for scrying from multiple different cultures across the world because of its just beautiful properties. I mean, it's black glass, you know. All right, I have little meditation balls. I love these things. I got these ones specifically from, there's a lady at the flea market here in Alabama, and she sells all kinds of Chinese imports. She's an older Asian lady, and yeah, they're cool. I feel like they really help stretch my fingers whenever I'm knitting. So these don't just have a spiritual purpose. These have a very physical purpose, in that anytime my hands feel crampy or gross, or my body feels crampy or gross, I can use these. I like to meditate with these before I do Reiki. I also like to meditate with my singing bowls before I do Reiki. Singing bowls are extremely high pitched. I do not have a proper sound system, so I'd rather not kill y'all's ears, so I won't be playing them, but I will be describing each of their sounds for you and all of the bowls that I have and actively use. This one gives a very, very clean sound because it's more of a machined singing bowl, and it literally like it does something to your brain, and it's a whack. I love it. Love it. This one, because it is more hand beaten, right? It doesn't have quite as smooth, right? Because it's hand beaten. So you get more of like the ups and downs with that one. Here we have another machined one. And each time they get bigger, the sound gets deeper, but not necessarily less high pitch, if that makes sense. The sound just gets deeper. You know what? It probably wouldn't hurt to just... Not bad. Not a bad sound. This one is super, super high pitched. Oh yeah, very, very. It wasn't done yet. It said, bitch, I'm not done yet. And decided to just bounce against something else. This one has a very nice sound. And last but not least, I have a very large one. This one, I'm not even going to lie, it's my favorite. I would say I don't play favorites with my tools, but this one's one of my favorites. Yes. Those are my singing bowls that I love so much. And let me see if I can stack them without banging them all together. Bubble wrap to keep them more separated, because I like to stack them all inside of each other. All right, so this is my travel altar. It's a black box, right? And it kind of has more of a briefcase look to it, which I love. I got this box from a Hobby Lobby and painted it myself, right? Oh, there's one more piece here that I left on my bed. I'm gonna be right back before I show you what's in this. Okay, so this was in my travel altar previously before I started my current project, but I have it rolled up in basically an altar cloth, kind of. But this is a project that I've been sleeping on simply because of the materials. So this is going to be an eye covering for spiritual journeys and meditations. This is really cool. This is traditionally indigo dyed mohair. Mohair is a certain kind of wool, right? It felts very easily, so like you would breathe on it, like just go, and then the mohair will felt. So you have to be very, very careful when you're working with it and when you're dyeing it. And because indigo dyeing is a very alchemical process, you could say, I thought that this would be perfect. And there's nothing quite like the shade of a natural indigo dye. However, because of the feltability of the mohair, you can never really rinse out all of the indigo from the wool. If you dye the wool first and then you spin it, you can never really get all of the dye out of the wool without felting it. So in order to get all of the dye out, you have to leave some in the wool, spin it into yarn, take that yarn, and then you rinse all the dye out of it. So it turns your fingers very blue, very indigo blue. And right now, working in the entertainment industry at a strip club, men do not like it when you have anything weird about you, like blue fingers. People will be like, what the fuck is that? So, for right now, we just wrap this up in an altar cloth and set it aside. I've also not been doing a lot of journeys lately, but such is life, such is life. This is my black book from the Aiden Wachter exercises. So most of my Aiden Wachter stuff is in this travel altar right now. This is walnut ink. This is from a store in Galveston that I forget the name of, but it's like the only calligraphy store down there. This walnut ink is a hundreds of years old family recipe walnut ink, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I have enchanted this ink myself for use with my black book. I also have my nib holder and my nibs that I use for my black book. I don't always use calligraphy tools for magic, but when I do, oh honey, I do. In here, I also have some tobacco in an Altoids tin, because you never, again, same thing with the whiskey, you never know when you're going to need a little bit of tobacco as an offering. I have a bell. I love sounds, in case you guys haven't noticed. Beautiful, beautiful bell. And I have my frankincense oil in here. Yes. Rolled up in a piece of white cloth so that it doesn't get knocked around too badly. And I have these candles from Coventry Creations. I love the money purse. This is the Dragon's Blood one. I think this is Witch's Brew, but this is the frankincense one. I just love it. And the Dragon's Blood. These Coventry Creation candles, man, I swear, like, they're just, I hate to be that person that's like, oh, I love to buy magical things from companies. But Coventry Creations is actually owned and operated by a very, very witchy person. And I really, really trust her processes, right? Even if she's mass producing these, I don't feel like they have lost their oomph by being mass produced, if that makes sense. Some other tools that that are kind of buried for whatever reason, I always keep a tub of salt, because whenever you cleanse your tarot decks or any decks, you want to bury them in salt overnight, and that just, nothing quite cleanses your deck like burying it in a tub of salt. So I have a storage container that is big enough to fit all of my tarot decks, and that's what I do whenever I cleanse them. I just bury them in that salt. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and seeing all of my magical tools and what I use them for. I don't use all of these tools all of the time. That would be a little excessive. What I like to do is I like to find the tool for the project, right? And I might have some supplementary tools to come up afterwards. So like I'll have a tool that plays a sound, right? Either my bells or my bowls. And I will have a tool that serves a physical function in the ritual. And I will typically try to leave it at that, right? Unless I'm working with a specific spirit or deity, in which case I will have an offering, depending on the deity. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if there is anything else that you want to know. Just like Kapoor asked me to see my magical tools, if you ask me, I can usually get a video out about that thing as long as I know about it. If it's a topic like Enochian magic, I'm so sorry, I don't know anything. I know about John Dee, but I don't know about the actual Enochian magic. I don't really practice that particular subset. But whatever I do know, I will certainly share freely with everyone. So until next time, happy dabbling and bye-bye.